There was once a young man named Jekyll, in whom fine upbringing and excellent education were combined, with disastrous results. Though he seemed at the outset to be destined for happiness, to travel through life in the cushioned compartments of wealth and privilege, to enjoy the esteem of his fellow men and fond admiration of women, sadly, this was not the fate allotted to him. Instead, he was to be doomed and miserable and hated by all humankind. How this came to pass and whose fault it was, it is now our pleasure to relay.
One of the Campbells!
The what?
Oh yes, well, how simply delightful. Ivy, go and open up the window a crack so we can hear them better.
Yes, Miss Jekyll.
But Ambrosia, the draft.
I'm so sorry, Mother. I forgot you were languishing.
Can you imagine Plodget serving that vile white paste and calling it icing? Oh, my stomach may never recover.
Would you like another bicarbonate of soda, madam?
No, but do see about getting the carolers and table straps from the kitchen. I do like to support the arts.
Yes, madam.
Oh, good heavens! That must be some sort of experimental choir.
Something is happening outside. It looks like a fight.
Oh, well, you know those artistic types. They're always at each other's throats. Probably some dispute over love affair.
Mother, please, this is serious.
I see blood on the steps. Oh, madam. Oh, miss, it was something awful.
Stop shrieking, Plodget. Just calm down and tell us what happened.
Of course, miss. Oh, but I couldn't come into the drawing room. I still got my snow galoshes on.
Oh, never mind that. Ivy will swap it up. No, what on earth is happening on the doorstoop?
Well, miss, it was something like this. There were carolers singing as pretty as a bunch of larks on the front steps. Singing Dick the Halls, I believe it was. Oh, they had a wee dog with them, miss, dressed up in a Christmas hat with wee little holes for the ears. Oh, it was the sweetest thing you'd ever saw. That dog with the wee little paws hanging from the wee sled and the wee bucket of pennies.
Plodget, please. Tell us about what happened to the carolers?
Oh, that's just it, miss. It was all because of the dog. He was sitting in the wee little sled when along came a man, a passerby, with a face as ugly as a rotten apple. Ooh, he had a mean look in his eye, that one. And before you knew it, he came and picked up the dog and threw it.
He threw the dog?
Right at the front steps. The poor thing died in an instant, with only a whimper to mark his passing, and a pool of blood the size of a tablecloth. I've seen quite a bit of dead animals in my line of work, but I can't remember seeing so much
Okay,
blood.
Plodget, enough. Mother's dyspeptic.
Sorry, miss. I'll just move on to the ending then. They tried to catch the scoundrel, but he shot them down left and right and gambled up the garden wall as quick as a monkey.
No, you don't mean to say he's in our garden now?
Well, I don't know, miss. But that's where I last saw him.
Ivy, I want you to concentrate. Is the garden door locked?
I think so, madam.
Thank heavens.
But I did leave the window open when I let the cat out.
What was that? A curtain rustling?
You don't suppose he's in the kitchen with the knives and the hatchet? No, it sounds like he's in the pantry with the garden and the
My word! What on earth will become of us? Oh, Mother! If only Father were here.
Mother. What's our Miss Plodget doing behind the sofa? Playing hide and seek? I see you, Miss Plodget. The jig is up.
Henry, there's been an atrocity at our front steps.
An atrocity? What's happened? A newspaper tossed in a puddle?
No, there's a maniac. A ruffian loose in the streets. He threw a little lapdog under our lintel.
No. How awful. It's downright devastating is what it is.
Devastating, yes.
I'm traumatized.
Well, no use spoiling the whole evening over it now. What's for dinner?
How could you be so callous?
Oh, my dear Ambrosia, I'm not being callous. In the medical profession, we learn to grow a thick skin. That's all. Every day we see twisted, contorted bodies clamber up to our offices, racked in pain, coughing up organs, bleeding geysers of blood. Why, if we let every bit of suffering affect us, we'd be too miserable to help anybody at all.
I suppose you're right. Thank heavens for your medical dispassion. Us ladies so often require a doctor's hand to pull us from this horrid torrent of feeling.
Now then, let's put this dreadful dog incident behind us and try and salvage this evening.
We're having a nice ham, Dr. Jekyll, with creamed cabbage.
Wonderful. I'm famished. Let's set another chair at the table, Ivy. Cousin Xavier's joining us for dinner.
Yes, sir.
Henry, have you forgotten? Miss Dewthistle is coming tonight. I arranged it especially with her mother at the Hollings-Buford-Smith charity luncheon.
Ah, yes. Miss Dewthistle. I suppose I had forgotten. Well, the more the merrier.
And Lady Throckmortonshire with those horrid daughters of hers.
Oh, no, they aren't coming tonight.
Lady Throckmortonshire is my dearest friend, and I refuse to hear any slanders against her or her family.
But she's insufferable.
And those hats of hers, like something crawled out of a sewer and gave birth on her head.
And those pug-nosed little twins no one can ever tell apart.
Except for the lip, of course. Penelope was born with a lip.
I am ashamed of you two! Snickering behind their backs like schoolchildren. The poor girl can't help it if her tongue doesn't work properly. And although Lady Throckmortonshire may have a lamentable taste in hats, she's nonetheless the richest woman in the nation, and therefore worthy of respect.
You're right, of course. We promise to behave.
And see to it you do. Ambrosia, come along and help me with my hair. The strain of the evening has caused it to list inelegantly downward.
Yes, Mother. Henry, listen to me. You must pay attention to Miss Dewthistle tonight. You can't spend the whole evening talking medicine with Cousin Xavier.
But I don't know what to say to Miss Dewthistle.
Well, you like her, don't you?
Well, of course I like her.
And you want to marry her?
Well, perhaps someday. But for right now, I'd rather be wed to science.
Henry, listen to me. It's not good for you to spend all of your time in the laboratory. You must marry and have children before your hair drops out. And Miss Dewthistle's family has a great deal of money, and you know how strapped we are now that Father's...
Mr. Utterson's here, miss.
Well, then why don't you let him in, you fat-headed twit? I hope he isn't wearing those ridiculous spats of his. It makes him look like a lame little wood duck.
Evening all. Sorry I'm late. Had to fight my way through snowdrifts and all. Leaving so soon, Ambrosia?
Oh, I'm off to labour near the ramparts of Mother Chiffon. If I'm not back in an hour, send a search party.
Well, I dare say we will. Good heavens, old chum. What's that all over your jacket? Looks like dog hair.
Dog hair? Why, no. It's the rabbits at the laboratory. I don't mind saying. I like injecting all different kinds of rabbits with different deadly diseases. Influenza, COVID-19, smallpox. It's remarkable how they all shriek with, Xavier, I must speak with you in private.
Very well.
It's of a matter of the utmost importance.
Well, what is it?
No, not here. In the laboratory. Xavier.
Yes?
Do you know the experiments I had told you about? Into the chemical separation of good and evil?
Yes, I dare say it rings a bell.
Well, I've done it! By George, I've done it! I found the chemical compound!
You don't mean to say...
Xavier, do you know what I did tonight?
Sniffed far too much formaldehyde?
I attacked a dog with my bare hands!
Attacked a dog?
A little Christmas dog, dressed up like old Saint Nick!
I must say, this is all very alarming. Perhaps you need to go to seashore and calm your nerves.
Xavier. Poor, well-meaning, kind, innocent, useless, pathetic Xavier. Why must I lead you like a camel through the dunes? Why? I've solved the problem of our dual nature. With this chemical compound, I can separate the good from the evil in our own hopelessly divided self and become purely one or the other.
But who on earth would want to be pure evil?
All of us! Imagine being free to roam the world, shouting at strangers, kicking and biting and grabbing whatever you want with no inhibition, no longer constrained by the rules of polite society.
Good heavens. Sounds like being an American.
And then, being free to join the civilized world without any guilt. Why, it's a dream. And I, Henry Jekyll, have been able to make that dream a reality. Come in.
Dr. Jekyll, the dinner guests have arrived.
Very well. Tell them we'll be along shortly.
Very good, sir.
Oh, and Ivy, there may be a gentleman you see around the laboratory every now and then. Mr. Hyde. I've given him the keys, so don't be alarmed if you see him.
Yes, sir. I mean, no, sir, I won't be alarmed. Will there be anything else, sir?
Not now. Run along.
Well, I certainly hope this Hyde fellow doesn't know about your experiments.
Ha! I should say he does. Hyde's the name I've given my evil-doing twin. Clever, isn't it? Hyde, as in hide, the part that's normally hidden. Oh, Xavier, I don't expect you to understand the genius of such things, but do say you will keep the chemical compound a secret, at least until I perfect it. It needs something else, something a little more evil.
This seems awfully dangerous. What if something goes wrong? What if you get caught kicking?
Oh, what do I care about head colds and broken arms when I am on the brink of the greatest scientific discovery ever made? There's an evil beast lurking in your heart. You can feel him, can't you, Xavier? Pacing to and fro, yearning for freedom, rattling in your corpuscular cage.
Good heavens!
And I've taken hold of him. And soon, with some minor modifications, I'll be able to unleash him and leash him back again of my own free will. I'll have this evil purged from our breasts and bottled on the shelves. And the whole world will thank me for it. All of them!
Are you sure you need this potion, old chum? I must say, you're exceedingly evil without it.
Oh, Xavier, this is nothing compared to my real evil side. Why tie on straight? Miss Dewthistle's coming to dine.
Miss Dewthistle. Miss Dewthistle.
Miss Dewthistle?
Oh, Miss Dewthistle!
Miss Dewthistle!
Oh, Miss Dewthistle! Mwah, mwah.
Miss Jekyll, Mr. Utterson, Dr. Jekyll.
Miss Dewthistle? Xavier, did you know that cerebellum is connected to the
Henry! Miss Dewthistle was telling me about her recent piano playing.
Was she?
Why, yes, actually I was. I'm not much of a player now, but my governess did teach me a few songs when I was a child. My mother had always wanted me to play, her herself being unable to due to an allergy to ivory. Poor mother is bedridden now, but I still play for her every afternoon to ease her sufferings for a time.
Miss Dewthistle also plays for the children at the orphanage, knits blankets for the poor, writes poetry, and retrieves injured birds from the wild and nurtures them back to health.
Good heavens. Is there anything Miss Dewthistle doesn't do?
Well, I don't drink my beer until I've had my breakfast.
Oh.
It's a joke.
rubbish, Dewthistle.
Oh yes, quite funny. Oh look, here comes Mother.
Do sit down, Lady Throckmortonshire. You must be exhausted from your exertions.
Oh, yes, I'm practically done on my feet. I look out on life and I see it all in the colour of dung. Achoo! Of course, my physician, Dr. Claridge Hunt, simply forbade me to go out in the cold air, but Penelope had to have a velveteen horse. So come in here, Penelope, and show them your horse.
Penelope's in the kitchen, Mother. She's chasing the cook with a fire poker.
Miss Jekyll, might I trouble you for a chaise to collapse upon?
Oh, you poor dear. Sink right here under this settee.
Thank you so much. I must apologize. I believe my daughter Penelope is terrorizing our servants.
Oh, well, think nothing of it. They're as disposable as matchsticks.
Mother, may I go study my poker quietly in the conservatory?
Yes, Calliope, study to your little heart's content. At least God granted me one devout child, Mrs. Jekyll. Pray tell me, why must a gift always be entwined with a curse?
Lady Throckmortonshire, have you met Miss Rosamunda Dewthistle?
I don't believe I've had the pleasure.
How do you do? That's a fascinating hat you've got on.
Oh, I thank you. I had it made especially. It's intended to represent a flaming rose bush doused in a pitcher of cream.
I've got the echo, madam.
Oh, bring it here, Ivy.
Oh, and I'm sorry to bother you, but there's a little girl throwing knives in the kitchen. Miss Plodget's hiding in the pantry and won't come out.
My word! Henry, go reprimand Plodget.
Yes, Mother?
And do watch your fingers and toes. Penelope has a vicious bite. The venom comes from her father's side, of course.
I'll help you. You might need some assistance.
Lady Throckmortonshire, would you like some eggnog?
How are you, dear girl?
Is your husband at sea, Lady Throckmortonshire? I heard he was a ship's captain.
At sea, yes, always at sea. Just this morning I received a colossal crate from Cyprus full of goldish spears and mummified kittens. Our house has become a veritable mausoleum, but the man cannot be dissuaded from his trinkets. And you, young lady, I presume you're not betrothed?
Alas, no.
Oh, but she may be quite soon.
Oh, Miss Jekyll, do stop.
Do you mind to do so love is at hand?
There's a mutual understanding between Miss Dewthistle and my son.
Young love. One simply envies them, doesn't one? That they should swoon about in love like patients under the ether, never to wake, coughing, gasping for air.
There's the famous fire poker. Our she-devil can't be far.
Xavier, you must help me with Miss Dewthistle.
Help you? What do you mean, help you?
I mean, Ambrosia insists on throwing us together, and I have no idea what to say to her.
Well, why don't you talk about things that women generally like to talk about?
Such as?
Oh, I'm no expert, old man, but I suppose they like to talk about hats and flowers.
Hats and flowers, hats and flowers. That will be something of a challenge.
Ahem!
Ah, there's our little troublemaker. Come here, young lady.
What do you want?
You see, Penelope, this is about the knife throwing, as this is my house you're in.
No, it's not. It's my house.
No, it isn't, Penelope, which is why you can't go around chasing cooks with pokers.
Who's he?
That's my cousin Xavier, Penelope. But don't interrupt me. Ow! Ow! I mean, truly, ow! Hit her with the poker! The poker! Ow!
Listen here, little girl. You mustn't go around biting people. Oh! Oh!
Sydney, God not give up for the flippin' thing.
No! Did you hear what that little hellion just called me?
A stupid sissy.
I haven't been through 3 years of medical school to be called
stupid.
I'd be more worried about the 50 if I were you.
Yes, I see your point.
Xavier,
Yes?
our encounter with that miniature harpy has given me an idea. Maybe a drop of blood from that young girl. It's just what I need to complete my potion.
You don't mean you're going to...
Oh, no. I'm not going to kill her. I'm merely just going to jab her with a steak knife. No. Don't protest. We must go down to the laboratory and collect the vials.
Am I not Miss Dewthistle?
Just a bit. If I have any more, I dare say my judgment will be affected. I might even propose to your brother myself.
Well, that may just be what's required.
Ambrosia, I believe you've drank too much eggnog.
Well, why shouldn't she take the initiative? Henry's so overcome with nerves he can hardly produce a sentence in her presence. Why shouldn't she propose?
Lady Throckmortonshire, perhaps you can talk some sense into my daughter.
Well, I believe there are some instances in which a woman is justified in approaching a gentleman. If, for instance, he is mortally wounded in battle and bleeding to death, or if he is paralyzed by illness and unable to speak.
But what are we ladies to do? Just sit around and wait our whole lives? One feels like a ripe peach dangling from a tree.
My gracious.
A ripe what?
A plum, a pomegranate, a little red fruit bursting with little red seeds.
Do not be alarmed, Lady Throckmortonshire. My daughter absorbed these dreadful self-expressions on her trip to the continent.
Ah, the continent. I've never ventured there myself, but I imagine the worst.
Oh, it isn't as bad as that. I myself visited Spain this spring on a mission to hand out soap cakes to the poor. The Spanish men were extremely agreeable.
Oh, agreeable. Please do tell us more.
Well, there was one who sang a song, and when I opened my window to toss out a soap cake, he handed me a rabbit skin.
A rabbit skin.
Yes, a soft, warm rabbit skin, brown with white tufts. You see, he was a hunter.
My word, like a scene from Grecian theatre. It's a wonder you weren't impaled.
Have you spoken with him? Dare I ask his response?
In passing, yes, but unfortunately his attention was diverted by the arrival of our cousin Xavier.
And did he mention marriage?
Yes, but I mean, my brother has some unusual tendencies that might want to be taken into account.
Oh, I don't mind tendencies. I do not mind them at all.
You see, these aren't the usual tendencies. My brother has rather a proclivity for cadavers.
Good heavens!
Oh, not in a natural sense. He just fancies talking about them.
No, I mean, good heavens, there's a little girl knocking at the window.
Oh, well, yes, so there is.
Help!
Oh dear! Do not be alarmed, Lady Throckmortonshire. I'll ring for the maid, and then she'll come and we'll have the door open in no time.
Don't bother. Henry's already gone up to retrieve her.
Yes, though it appears she's running away from him.
Perhaps you may draw a lesson from this. My brother loves nothing more than a rousing chase.
Oh, Miss Jekyll, I'll have to don my earmuffs and chase off through the snow.
Calliope, my dear, you're chilled to the bone.
He's chasing me with a knife.
Ah, there you are, little girl. Now then, I'll hide, and you and Xavier can hunt for me. Oi, oxen free!
Henry, really? Converting outdoors in this weather? The poor girl doesn't even have a coat on.
Ah, that doesn't matter to old Penelope. She's as strong as a cart horse.
I'm Calliope, not Penelope.
Please, Dr. Jekyll, she has a weak heart. Like an undersized spleen.
Did someone say on the oxen free? I was hidden in the grandfather clock and... Ah!
No. It's the good one.
It appears we've mistaken our quarry. The games are over.
Yes, I see.
Excuse me, madam, I heard the bell ring, but I was all the way down in the...
No, it's the good one.
Miss Dewthistle, why don't you let Henry escort you to the table?
Why, it would be my pleasure. Dr. Jekyll, I trust I'm safe in your hands.
Yes, quite so, Mother, quite so. Though I dare say Lady Buford Smith could put down the native uprising with one stomp of a beast-up foot.
I was her bridesmaids once, and she was not a slim girl then.
But really, now, personally, I bear no ill will towards the natives, but if I ever met one, I would extend my hand without hesitation.
I expect that he should, without hesitation, lop it off.
Exactly. You may bear no ill will towards them, but they certainly do towards you.
Indeed, indeed they do.
Now, why would that be so? One would think they'd admire us and be glad of our presence there. After all, we are shepherding them from the darkness and into the light.
I believe it is our particular light in which they so despise.
Pray, explain yourself, Mr. Utterson.
I refer to the light of science and reason. The primitive mind is not like yours and mine, Miss Dewthistle. It is steeped in ancient law and mythic rites, and it will not be parted from its evil demon. My word.
Yes. Though I dare say I disagree with you on one point. And the fact that we also carry the blood of our ancients, and therefore our own capacity for evil.
Do you mean to suggest that we're the same as these barbarians, Dr. Jekyll? Although it is us who educate them in the process of civilization.
Is it? Is it really? Or is it us who are the more barbaric, as we conquer and subjugate them, and then, in our own vanity, call it education? No, Lady Throckmortonshire. I believe all men are capable of evil. That evil born at the wellspring of our being, bound into our being, coursing through our very veins. Is this not the lessons of science? That life everywhere perpetuates itself by destruction, by death? Why must we live in this world where good and evil are twined together like a snake?
When did you go to the
Dr.
continent?
Jekyll! You say all men are capable of evil. Do you include ladies in this category as well?
Indeed, I'd never considered it. I guess ladies do not figure in the equations of science.
I mean, he's got a point.
What's a pity?
Makes sense.
I should like to think what's capable of something.
Perhaps we should talk about something else before we begin to dance rings around a fire pit. Did I tell you I intend to visit Shropshire this spring?
Marvelous! Just like my dear husband. He always used to say, there's nothing quite like looking at a sheep on a hill.
Oh, it seems that I've dropped my spoon under the table.
Allow me.
Henry, you must stop nattering on about snakes and pay attention to Miss Dewthistle. She thinks you're ignoring her.
Ambrosia, have you been drinking eggnog?
That is besides the point.
Bit more from Dr. Jekyll.
Yes. Oh, Miss Dewthistle,
Yes, Dr. Jekyll?
I believe I saw some chrysanthemums today.
Chrysanthemums? I adore chrysanthemums. Pink ones especially.
Well, as a matter of fact, these chrysanthemums were gray.
Gray? That's rather unusual, isn't it?
Why, yes, it is. You see, these weren't your normal chrysanthemums. These chrysanthemums have been etherized, preserved in a bottle. You see, the lads at the laboratory like to go a little with the formaldehyde and... Oh, speaking of which, Xavier, did you know that the color X is what... Ow! Oh! Is there a butterfly under the table?
A butterfly? I love butterflies!
Now listen here, Penelope.
I'm Calliope.
Whoever you are, the point is, I need a drop of blood from your sister's finger.
Oh, I couldn't do anything to hurt Penelope. That would be dreadful.
Now, it wouldn't hurt if it were done quickly, now would it? Here, I'll give you a shilling so you can put it on your hat.
No, I won't do it.
Now listen here, you little pest. I'm a doctor, and I need that blood very badly for an experiment.
Henry, what on earth is going on down here?
Oh, nothing, Mother. We were just, talking about butterflies.
That isn't true. We were talking about blood.
That's very strange, Henry. People are starting to wonder if something's the matter.
Is something the matter? Why is everyone under the table?
Henry was helping, Penelope find her hat pin.
I'm Calliope. I'm going to go finish my cabbage now.
Oh, well, what's going on under here? did you know that Miss Dewthistle's been to Italy?
It was Spain, actually.
She visited a mosque and threw breadcrumbs at pigeons.
Really, Ambrosia? Must we talk about this now?
I'm gonna finish that last bit of ham on your plate, old chum, because if
No. Go ahead.
Whatever's going on down here? We playing parlor games?
No, Lady Throckmortonshire, we're discussing Spain.
In my younger days, we would play musical chairs until we panted like foxhounds.
Will you be wanting that dessert now, madam?
Yes, Plodget.
And will you be wanting it under the table or on top of it?
On top of it, for God's sakes! I'm sorry, Calliope.
I'm Penelope.
Come over here, Penelope, and sit by Mother.
Now then, I believe I'll have another slice of ham. Anybody else care for a slice?
Henry!
Oh, I'm sorry. I didn't nick you now, did I? Here, let me have a look.
No wonder, Dr. Jekyll. It's just a scratch.
Oh, you can never be too careful these days. You know how infections spring up at the slightest opportunities. In fact, I think I see several signs of disease already.
Henry! This is very strange!
Couldn't you just schedule recovery? You risk the health of this poor girl? Heavens no! These things can be fatal if they aren't dealt with in time. Come here, Penelope. There's a good girl.
You stay away from me! Off me!
Xavier, I've got her. Help me hold her.
hurry up, she's got the strength of a wild animal.
Now then, this won't hurt a bit.
No, make it stop! It hurts!
Ah, there, I've got it.
Well done.
Ah! Oh! Now then, I think I'll take this blood down to the laboratory and run a few tests.
But Miss Dewthistle is still here.
Oh, yes. Good night, Miss Dewthistle.
Good night, Dr. Jekyll.
He really isn't himself tonight. You must come tomorrow for tea.
Are you sure?
I promise I'll have everything settled by then, and I'll make sure that you two get some alone time. Yeah. Be here tomorrow at 3 p.m.
Well, if you really think I should.
I'll see you home, Miss Dewthistle.
Well, thank you for a wonderful evening, Mrs. Jekyll. We'll call again tomorrow for the test results. Penelope, Calliope.
Here I am, Mother. Ouch! Penelope, please don't bite me. Ouch! I don't want to go home.
Nonsense, dear. We must get you in bed so you can recover.
I'm not sick.
Of course you are, dear. You're infected. The doctor said so. Now, let your sister go.
You better hurry along, Penelope. We wouldn't want to miss our bedtime. Ouch! Oh, look, a prayer book. Oh, no, Penelope, please not my prayer book. Please, please. Penelope, ouch! I'm sorry, Mother. It seems I've crushed Penelope on the chin.
Well, let that be a lesson to her that she can't tamper with nice old books for fun and get away with it.
finally, alone at last. And it's only 2:30 in the morning, with a bright moon just outside the window. I wonder what I'll do tonight. I could tidy up my rows of beakers and vials. Or I could arrange my bones and organs from A to Z. Or I can mix this 3 parts nitroglycerin, 2 parts petroleum sulfide, and this drop of blood to become an evil incarnate.
What if something goes wrong?
Why, yes, I suppose something could go wrong. But right now, it's all worth it in the name of science.
But you must marry and have children before your hair drops out.
Oh, I'll have plenty of time to marry once I'm through with my experiments.
But what about Miss Dewthistle? Someone might marry her.
Why, yes, I suppose somebody else could marry Miss Dewthistle. If they do, I'll just drink a pint of this stuff and chop them up with a pickaxe. Now, everybody, be quiet so I can concentrate. All right, let's see here. 3 parts nitroglycerin. What's next? Ah, yes, 2 parts petroleum sulfide. Nasty stuff, that. And then we add this drop of blood. And there we have it. Cruel, unthinkable evil in a glass. Well then, bottoms up. I believe this experiment has been a success.
Good morning, miss. Oi, have you seen any strange characters lurking about?
Strange characters? Why, Lord, I don't believe I have. But I did see a bird with only 1 foot.
I'm afraid we're not looking for any birds. You see, we're looking for a criminal.
A criminal? You don't say. What would he do?
Oh, he's been terrorizing the neighborhood all through the wee hours of the morning. He pushed a baby carriage into a fountain and got the baby damp. He chased a cat up a tree.
No.
He even trampled an old woman's Christmas wreath.
Aye.
Aye.
Well, that's English for you. It don't take much how we push to send them off the deep end, if you know what I mean.
Oh, you don't have to tell me. I'm from Ireland.
Oh, you know. Well, I thought so by your accent. You know, my sister Marjorie married an Irishman.
Oh, did she now?
Constable, what are you doing? Standing around gabbing with nursemaids? We have a violent criminal to apprehend.
Sir, I was interviewing a passerby to see if she'd seen anything.
Well, had she?
Only a bird with 1 foot, sir.
A bird with 1 foot. Constable, I want you to blow that whistle. Run around. Act like you're doing something. We have a violent criminal to apprehend.
Yes, sir.
I need to get to you on your way home, miss, or else you might get attacked.
Oh, he wouldn't dare mess with me, that one. I've got the blood of a Scots in me. I'll get him what for. Miss Plodget, Ivy! What are you doing out here?
It's Dr. Jekyll. He didn't come home last night.
Well, now, couldn't you have waited till I got back from the market to tell me?
Well, you also forgot your handkerchief. I thought you might get a runny nose in the cold air.
Well, isn't that just the sweetest little thing you'd ever heard? Ivy, you're as dead as a lamb you are. But now get yourself on home before the murderer attacks you.
The what?
Haven't you heard? There's a murderer on the loose. He's already killed a baby, drowned with a fountain.
Oh!
That's him.
Who?
The murderer.
Are you sure?
Aye. He's the same one who killed the wee dog.
What should we do?
Well, I don't know. But all of a sudden my knees have gone to haggis. Maybe if we stand very still, he won't notice us.
Hello, Vicky.
Where are you going, you imbeciles? Are you hurt, Clyde?
No, I'm all right. I'm only glad they didn't hurt these balloons we got for Penelope. Do you think she liked them very much?
Why, yes, dear, of course. So, when one is bedridden with disease, one undoubtedly appreciates a distraction from one's condition. Well, there's a very unattractive young man. Whatever is he doing throwing those breadcrumbs around?
Here, piddy, piddy, piddy. Here, piddy, piddy. I have some breadcrumbs for you.
He's only feeding the pigeons, and he has a lisp just like poor Penelope. Couldn't we be friends with him? Perhaps he's lonely.
All right, but only for a moment. If anyone should come around, we must pretend not to know him.
Hello, sir.
Hello, little girl.
I like pigeons too. Sometimes I save my breakfast bun to throw at them.
Really? How fascinating. Would you like to help me feed the pigeons now?
All right. Here, pidgey, pidgey, pidgey. Here, pidgey, pidgey. Oh, look. A poor crippled pigeon with 1 foot.
Yes. How terrible. Here, let's put it out of this misery. I've always hated balloons.
You wouldn't dare.
Please, sir, not my coloured balloons.
Oh, stop it! Don't look away, Calliope, look away!
There's the scoundrel.
Careful, he's got the pointy cane.
He's got me in the heart. O'Malley, the scoundrel.
He'll push through, Lieutenant. Hang on.
There's no use pretending. I'm bleeding like a stuck pig. No pun intended.
Oh, none taken, sir.
Well, you have my billy club, Constable. Take good care of it. And always remember, you have to keep on the soft spot in the back of the head. Otherwise, you'll crack the varnish.
Yes, sir.
Oh.
There never was a There never was a There never was a fire. There never was a finer example of a policeman.
Mother, shouldn't I look away?
No, dear. This time you may point and gawk in fascination.
Plodget? Good heavens, no! He's too busy killing babies and policemen to worry about the likes of us. Oh, that's the crumpets. I heard from the dressmaker that he carries an axe around with him to chop people up and turn them into pot pies and then sell them at the market for 3 shillings tuppence. It just goes to show you can't believe a butcher about your hair these days. But she heard it from the butcher's wife, and she knows all about chopping things up. Listen to me, Ivy. There's some people who take a strange delight in scaring the bejesus out of others. They'll take a story and add their own embroiderings to it until it bears no resemblance to the original at all. Now, what were you doing talking to the dressmaker? She was here to fit Miss Ambrosia's dress for the wedding. The wedding? Whose wedding might that be? Dr. Jekyll's. He's getting married to Miss Dewthistle. You don't say. Miss Ambrosia told me. Of course, I wasn't supposed to tell anyone. Why even not? Because Dr. Jekyll doesn't know it yet. Well now, how can Dr. Jekyll be getting married and not know it? I'm not sure. But Miss Ambrosia said, as soon as they're married, we will be moving to a house with a fountain. A fountain? Won't that be grand? Except that Dr. Jekyll didn't come home last night. Maybe he was chopped up and made into pot pie. Ivy, haven't you heard a word I've been saying to you? Well, then where is he? He hasn't even been home for lunch, and he always comes home for lunch.
Maybe he went to Mr. Utterson's house. You know, they often sit up late talking about diseases. Perhaps he got tired and fell asleep. But Mr. Utterson called earlier and said that he hadn't seen him. Well, that is a mystery then. Where do you suppose he could have gone? Oh, Ivy, you dropped something.
I have. There you are. Thank you.
Well, now, it seems to me there can only be one solution. He must have gotten called out on a medical case.
Maybe he had to tend to one of the victims. Do you think so?
Oh, I'm sure of it. Why, who else would they call but Dr. Jekyll? There's no greater physician in all of London.
Miss Plodget? Yes, Ivy? Did you hear that noise?
Yes, I did. It sounded like a piece of cutlery clattering to the floor.
Uh-huh. Did you drop any cutlery?
Why, no. I thought you did.
No, Miss Plodget. I didn't drop any dynamite either!
Dr. Jekyll, we didn't dare to come in.
Why, yes, I must have forgotten to say hello.
Are you all right, Dr. Jekyll?
Yes, quite all right.
Were you out on a case, sir?
Yes, that's it. An extremely exhausting case. Now, if you'll excuse me and pull this blanket up for me, I think I'll go to sleep right here for several days. Pull the curtain shut, would you?
Henry! What are you doing lying down? Miss Dewthistle will be here in 10 minutes.
Oh no, I can't possibly see Miss Dewthistle tonight. I need to sleep. Sleep.
Oh, no, you don't. Nope, you were going to get up and prepare to look charming. Plodget, go get him some tea.
Yes, miss.
Ivy, come and help me clean him up.
Yes, miss.
I must say, this matchmaking of yours is becoming a tad annoying.
I'm only helping nature take its course.
Well, why don't you help nature somewhere else? You could plant a tree, for example, or neuter the stray cats in the park.
What should I do with all these pigeon feathers, miss?
I don't know, just hide them somewhere? Now, Henry, it took a great deal of work to get Miss Dewthistle to come back after all of your terrible behavior last night.
I don't see what was so terrible about it.
You ran screaming around the dinner table and attacked a 10-year-old.
Rubbish. I didn't run. I walked quickly.
Whether you ran or not is hardly the point.
But my point is that you always exaggerate.
I do not.
Yes, you do. Another thing, you pronounce words wrong. Schadenfreude, for example.
I do not. I say Schadenfreude just like everyone else.
Ha! There, you see. You left off the last syllable.
That's how you're supposed to say it.
No, it isn't. I bet you don't even know what a Schadenfreude is.
Yes, I do. A Schadenfreude is a German crumb cake.
Wrong. That's the Goodrich. Schadenfreude is joy at another's pain. Good heavens, Ivy's fallen on the floor.
Come in.
Ivy, can you hear me?
Forgive the intrusion. I was in the neighborhood and I just... Good God, man, what have you done?
It wasn't me. The poor girl's had a fainting spell. Help me get her up.
Pot pies! Pot pies!
She's saying pot pies. She must be half-starved.
Let's get her down to the kitchen.
Hello? Is anyone at home? The gate was open.
Good heavens, it's Miss Dewthistle.
We can't let her know the maid has fainted from hunger. It looks immoral.
What do you suppose we do? Hide her behind the curtain?
They will be right there, Miss Dewthistle. Xavier, please, go install her.
Miss Dewthistle, hello.
Hello, Mr. Utterson. Are the Jekylls at home?
Yes, they are.
Well, might I see them?
Certainly. As soon as you're ready.
I believe I'm ready now, Mr. Utterson.
Are you?
Yes, I am.
Wonderful. Well, why don't we go in and see them then?
That would be lovely.
Splendid. Here we are, coming into the drawing room.
Ah, Miss Dewthistle.
Dr. Jekyll, Miss Jekyll.
Why don't you come and take my place in the game?
All right, must we play it?
Beg of my neighbor. We hadn't decided.
I'll go see about getting some tea.
Tea is ready, miss.
Forget the tea. Forget the tea. You've got to help me with Ivy.
Are you all right, Dr. Jekyll?
Yes, quite all right. Just a scratchy throat, that's all.
I had a scratchy throat myself earlier. I believe it's the fog which is to blame.
Ah, yes, the fog. The dastardly fog. If only we could make it all go away.
Perhaps we should take your temperature.
Ah, good idea.
I met Miss Dewthistle.
Better idea.
I assure you I feel quite healthy.
Yes, she feels quite healthy. Oh my goodness, look over there!
Where?
Over there!
There?
Oh, blast, I've dropped my joker. Would you be so kind?
Well, all right.
Would you excuse my cousin Xavier and I for a moment? Xavier, you must leave me alone, Miss Dewthistle.
Why not?
I feel a bit strange.
Yes, I dare say you look a bit strange.
Oh no, it can't be.
What's happening?
I think I'm turning into him.
Who? Him? Now?
Yes, quickly, distract him while I find the antidote.
Miss Dewthistle, would you care for a game of piquet?
Well, all right. Where's Dr. Jekyll going?
He went to walk the dog.
I thought they had a cat.
I meant cat. Shall I deal?
Well, now that we're alone, Mr. Utterson, there's something I'd rather like to ask you.
Yes?
It's about Dr. Jekyll. As his closest friend, I suspect you know him as well as anyone.
I suppose so.
It's just that he's so difficult to understand. At times he seems fond of me, and at others, well, he seems to not care for me at all.
Oh, really? Do go on.
Well, last night, for instance, he seemed to be interested in talking to me, but then he left with barely a goodbye. Surely he's got a lot on his mind being a physician, but one would think he'd set that aside if he were truly fond of me. Oh, Mr. Utterson, perhaps I should just give up. Tell me, do you think so?
Well, maybe wise to consider other offers.
But that's just it. I don't want any other offers. Of course, there haven't been any other offers yet, but surely you understand there comes a time in a young lady's life when she simply must marry, when her reputation frankly depends upon it. Oh, Mr. Utterson, if you'll only speak to him, I'm sure he would listen to you. Please tell me you'll speak to Dr. Jekyll.
Miss Dewthistle.
What happened?
He seems to have fainted. Help me get him up.
Oh, Dr. Jekyll, I'm afraid I've been speaking rather indiscreetly. Do say you didn't overhear me.
Why, yes, I did overhear you, Miss Dewthistle. And what's more, I was glad to.
You were?
You see, there's been something I've been meaning to say to you too, Miss Dewthistle.
There is?
Yes.
Oh, Dr. Jekyll.
Oh, Miss Dewthistle. Would you excuse me for a moment?
Right now?
Yes. Oh, Cousin Xavier's coming up. You can talk to him.
Where am I?
You're in the Jekyll's drawing room.
Yes. Where is he?
He went out for a bit, but I believe he was about to propose to me.
Listen here. You must leave here at once.
Leave?
I tell you this for your own good. You mustn't marry Dr. Jekyll.
Mr. Utterson, this is most strange. First I've allowed you into my confidence, and now you seem to want to hinder me.
Rosamunda, I implore you.
Well, what's going on in here?
Mr. Utterson was just demonstrating a medical procedure.
I see. Xavier, I suggest you run along to the nearest hospital before someone sends you there on a stretcher.
But...
Good day, Xavier!
Well, good day then, Miss Dewthistle.
Mr. Utterson. I believe your brother was on the brink of proposal.
Really? Where is he?
I don't know. He said, oh, Miss Dewthistle, and then he ran out.
He said, oh, Miss Dewthistle?
Yes.
Well, did he say it like, oh, Miss Dewthistle? Or like, oh, Miss Dewthistle?
I think it was more like the first.
I see. Well, were his eyes staring downcast or straight at you?
Well, they were darting from my face to Mr. Utterson's, who was unconscious at the time.
Very well. Rosamunda, you must go to the garden and wait at once.
But it's snowing!
Trust me, you can wear my wrap. I'll send Henry out to you in a matter of moments.
Here it is. Right behind the curtain. Mind you don't dust yourself into a throne again. Are you sure you've had enough to eat?
Yes, Miss Plodget. But I'm having a very strange idea.
Perhaps you hit your head when you fell to the floor.
Hmm? Or perhaps the idea's what made me fall down.
Whatever do you mean?
The murderer killed a pigeon in the park this morning, didn't he?
That's right.
And stabbed a policeman with his cane?
Well, that's what the chimney sweep said. But he also said chim chimney chim chiroo, and it did this little number.
You decide how bright the light is. But all the same, if you found a whole lot of pigeon feathers in someone's jacket, a bloodied cane in the closet, and a blood-covered handkerchief in someone's pocket, and that someone was out all last night and all morning, would you think that someone could be the murderer?
I suppose it's possible. Which someone were you thinking of?
Dr. Jekyll. Oh, Ivy, that's the funniest thing I've heard in years. Imagine. Dr. Jekyll, a bloodthirsty murderer, killing babies, stabbing policemen.
Though I did notice that Dr. Jekyll wore the same shoes as the murderer.
It's him, quick, behind the curtain.
Xavier! You stay away from me!
No, it's me, Jekyll.
I don't care whether you're Jekyll, Hyde, or Little Bo Peep. As far as I'm concerned, you're all evil.
Please, listen to me. I can no longer control my evil half. The antidote no longer works, and I'm helpless to fend off these horrid transformations.
Well, perhaps there's a lesson to be learned here about tampering with nature. Oh, that's not!
I need another drop of blood.
Another one? Oh, no. I'm not going near that girl again.
No. It's from the good one. Oh, please say you'll do it. Say you will.
I'll think it over.
All right, I'll do it. Lady Throckmortonshire and the child are coming here this afternoon. You will wait for them here in the drawing room.
Well, I'm afraid that may be a bit difficult. You see, Ambrosia thinks I'm in love with Miss Dewthistle, which I suppose I could see why, since I was begging her not to marry you. But you must understand, old chum, I'm behind you 100% and all that, but you aren't treating the poor girl terribly well. I mean, perhaps the poor girl does deserve to know that you're an axe-wielding... You've changed, haven't you? Well then, why don't we talk about this later?
Henry, you must go out to the garden at once.
I'm sorry, Ambrosia. I'm afraid I'm rather busy at the moment. Xavier! Wake up, Xavier!
What happened?
You fell and hit your head. Ambrosia, go get some ice from the cook.
Xavier, as I recall, I asked you to go home about half an hour ago.
Oh, Xavier isn't going anywhere.
Yes, he is. He has an appointment.
I better show off then.
Oh, no, you don't. Remember, you have to help me with those little experiments.
I can assure you he's not helping you. I'm helping you, so why you must go out to the garden right now. Rosamunda is waiting for you, Henry.
Good God, man, what have you done?
It appears I've knocked her out.
But she's your sister, and you're not even him right now.
Yes, I suppose you're right. We could go into great detail about this right now, but I'd rather get you upstairs and fix the antidote before I chop off half of London with the butcher's knife.
What do we do now?
You say it. I'll look for the constable.
today.
Stay here! We can't let Dr. Jekyll know. Or else have her away.
Hello, Miss Jekyll, are you home?
Just acting at home. I'll be back as quick as a wink.
Hello, Lady Throckmortonshire. I haven't come at an inconvenient time.
Oh, not at all. I was just having my portrait painted in the costume of Salome. I'm the most marvelous portrait painter. Goodbye, Mr. Wentworth. I'll take alone. Thank you ever so much.
Au revoir, madame.
I find the French language so turbulent, don't you?
Please take a seat and allow me to take your hat. Ivy. I simply have no idea what that maid could be.
I believe she's cowering in the corner.
Ah! Ivy, what on earth are you doing?
Nothing, madam, just cowering.
Go and fetch us some Brazilian fig cakes with powdered sugar and some tea.
You mean from the kitchen?
Of course from the kitchen, Ivy.
Wouldn't you rather I run to the market for some crumpets and cream?
Why would we want crumpets and cream when we have Brazilian fig cakes? I do hope you like them, Lady Throckmortonshire. They arrived only yesterday from Madame Demise.
I was just thinking that they might have gone funny. I wouldn't want you to get sick again.
Ivy, stop this arguing and fetch them at once!
Yes, madam.
Ah!
I'm the good one.
My word, Calliope, what on earth happened to your balloons?
They were popped by a murderer in the park.
No. You don't mean to say you've actually seen him?
Why, yes, we were within a hair's breadth of having our throats slit, but luckily a Barbie came in time to have his throat slit in our place.
Imagine how terrifying that must have been. Imagine...
you can't imagine how ruined we are by the encounter. Poor Calliope's hands are still clamped to her balloon strings in fear. Luckily, I diverted her eyes from the slaughter of a pigeon, or else she may have developed a lifelong aversion to featherbeds.
I do think it's wrong to hurt pigeons in the park. Don't you, Mrs. Jekyll?
Of course it's wrong.
Do you think the murdered pigeon had any baby pigeons?
Well... You see, you can never know. Pigeons tend to breed quite uncontrollably.
Oh, I see. Might I trouble you for a handkerchief? I wouldn't want to get tears on the carpet.
Oh, the poor dear. It's simply enough to break one's heart.
Yes, and if I had a heart, it would be riven in twain.
Oh, Henry. Thank goodness you've come. Lady Throckmortonshire is here for the test results. Test results?
For the infection, Penelope's at home in protective quarantine.
Oh, yes, the infection. It wasn't serious at all, was it, Xavier?
Well, not having examined her, I guess. Ow! It was just a head cold.
But thank heavens.
What on earth are you carrying in that vial there? Some sort of evil potion?
Why, no, it's not an evil potion. It's just a bit of grape juice. Yes, that's all it is, just a bit of grape juice. Did you hear that, Xavier? Evil potion.
Ivy, what on earth is the matter?
She's white as a sheet. Perhaps she's ill.
Ivy, are you ill?
Not ill. Scared.
Well, have Henry take you down to the kitchen and take a look at your...
No! Not Dr. Jekyll. Pot pies.
You see, Mother, she's just a little bit hungry. Now then, go and eat a biscuit like I told you to.
Maybe she'd like a bit of the grape juice.
No!
What? Why not?
Because if the girl wants pot pie, then by God, she shall have some pot pie. Xavier, get the grape juice. Now come along, Ivy.
I think I'm going to go wash my hands before tea.
Capital idea. I believe I'll wash up too.
Everybody's certainly behaving strangely today, Lady Throckmortonshire. You mustn't believe our household is always in such turmoil. I simply have no idea what's gone into the servants. Fig cake.
Yes, I understand completely. I myself have come to believe that the only answer to the servant problem is public beheading.
Beheading?
Why, of course, if we just lopped off their heads in the middle of Piccadilly Circus, I believe you would see much less unruliness on behalf of the underclass, don't you?
I suppose I agree in principle. Oh dear, Ivy's only filled this teapot up halfway. Surely you must have this glass.
No, a glass of grape juice will suit me admirably.
Are you so sure? I'd only be so glad to drink this grape juice myself. That way you could have the tea.
Tea and more tea. A glass of grape juice will be a pleasant novelty.
If you wish.
Oh, I insist upon it.
Oh, whatever must you think of me, Lady Throckmortonshire? I suppose you know that my dear husband's now...
Yes, it must be terribly difficult for you.
If only he were dead, it'd be one thing, but travelling the world in a hot air balloon with 2 female sheep and a parakeet, I'm afraid it's nearly torn the family apart.
I imagine it would. Your son seems particularly afflicted.
Oh, Henry? Oh, yes, but hopefully soon enough he'll come to his senses and settle down and marry Miss Dewthistle. A charming girl, don't you think? I suppose you only did meet her the once. Lady Throckmortonshire, if the grape juice doesn't suit you, we'll simply...
Lady Throckmortonshire, control yourself!
What's the matter? I was shouting.
Lady Throckmortonshire, having some sort of attack!
She didn't have any of the evil potion, did she?
Oh, the grape juice, yeah!
Lady Throckmortonshire, don't be alarmed. It'll wear off in any moment if you just sit down and try not to kick. Might hit me on the left side, the right side's already got quite a lump.
Oh, Lord! What's happened? Lady Throckmortonshire drank the grape juice, and she had an attack. Plot cousin Xavier, and now she's trying to make love to me!
Yes, I can see that. If you don't mind, I'd like to give her a knock on the head with this club.
Oh, Henry, do you really think we should?
Yes, after careful deliberation, I do.
But she's a lady, a member of high society, and she's unhooking my corset.
There he is! Arrest him quick, lock him up!
Quiet down, miss. I'll take over from here. Now, what seems to be the trouble, sir?
There's no trouble, Constable. We are merely having our afternoon tea.
I see. Well, I'll be off then.
Ah! The bodies!
Right. And what about the 2 bodies on the floor? I suppose they just appeared out of the teapot?
Of course not! We've already told you who did it!
Hold your tongue, lassie. My mind's picking up facts like a squirrel rounds up acorns.
Now, Constable, there's a very simple explanation for all this. Lady Throckmortonshire clubbed him.
And then he clubbed Lady Throckmortonshire.
Who's having sort of a fit.
But it was only because the teapot was half filled, which was because the maid was ill. But I assure you that none of them are dead. They are sleeping. They're merely sleeping. So I assure you, there isn't a cause for scandal.
Well, if that's all settled, I'd best get back to the station.
What?
There is just one more question before I go.
Is that the fig cake?
Oh, yes it is! How clever of you to notice.
Oh, they train us to see every little detail. My eyes are sharp as a falcon's.
Ah, yes, well, surely, why don't you take them? We have ever so many.
No, Mother. I'm sure the constable has many important things to do.
Look at the murderer.
Why, no. In fact, the murdering's been a bit slow since this morning. A bit of fig cake sounds right pleasant.
What have you got? Haggis for brains? We've already told you he's the murderer. We saw with our own eyes.
Oh, no, that's not possible. You see, we're looking for a cold-blooded, brutal type, not someone like Dr. Jekyll. Oh, do you mind if I scoot this body over a bit?
Not at all, go ahead.
Well, I've never in all of my years seen such a mockery of justice. You're a disgrace to your country is what you are. An Irish lapdog on an English knee, betraying the God-given truth for a bit of big cake and a pat on the head. In all the name of Scotland and Ireland, I pray you choke on your scrap of cake and I throw you belly up in the Thames with the rest of the garbage.
Haven't thrown garbage in the Thames, then have you? You can get a citation for that.
Come on, we're packing up our things.
Lady Throckmortonshire, are you feeling any better?
Oh, Lord!
Nothing. Just lady troubles. Oh, goes on and on. Now, come along, Lady Throckmortonshire. Mother, I'll see that you'll take the constable out.
Thank you so much for stopping by, Constable.
All in a day's work, madam. Now, where did I leave that for Billy's club?
It's right here on
The couch, that's where you left it.
This was a gift from the poor lieutenant. A tragic occurrence. Died right before my eyes, he did.
Say. Whoa!
Sometimes I can still hear his whistle calling me to attention. Hard to believe he's really gone. Well, I'd best be off. I'd stay indoors if I were you, madam. The streets aren't safe for a lady these days.
No, they sure aren't. Here, Constable, why don't you watch yourself out there on the ice?
Mother, Mrs. Jekyll. Oh, pardon me. Have you seen my mother? You've got a nasty bump on your head. Sorry, I didn't mean to hurt you.
Where am I?
You're in the Jekyll's drawing room.
Oh, yes. Where is he? Where is he?
Where's who?
Hide! Hide! Hide!
I'm afraid I don't feel much like hiding right now, but I'll be glad to count if you like. 1, 2, 3. You know, you should really be more quiet. I know where you've just gone. 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9. Ready or not, here I...
Hello, little girl.
You're the murderer, aren't you?
Yes, I am.
I shouldn't like to be a murderer. You must feel very bad inside.
Yes, I just feel awful. There is one thing that does make me feel better, though.
Are you going to pray for forgiveness? That always makes me feel better.
Maybe later. But first, what I think I'll do is pluck out the heart of a little girl and feed it to the pigeons. Penelope, are you all right?
Calliope, please don't hurt me.
No, I won't hurt you. I do need a drop of blood from your finger, though.
No!
No! Stop squirming! This is for the good of humanity!
Dr. Jekyll?
Help!
What on earth is going on?
I'm extracting a splinter.
Perhaps I could be of help. I was a nurse for the war wounded.
Were you really? Well, I've gotten rid of the splinter now, but still drawing from blood. Checking for tetanus, you know?
Yes, I know all about tetanus. Dr. Jekyll, I must confess, I've been waiting for you in the garden.
Were you?
Yes, I've been waiting for a moment alone with you, like this one.
Why, thank you, Miss Dewthistle. No, I'm afraid we are not alone at the moment.
Yes, we are.
What about Penelope?
You mean Calliope?
Yes, Calliope.
She seems to have fainted.
Ah, I see.
Oh, Dr. Jekyll.
Oh, Miss Dewthistle.
Ew!
Miss Dewthistle, really?
I'm a ripe peach dangling from a tree.
Good God! No, I'm in the midst of important...
Yes, it's important. It's very, very important.
No, Miss Dewthistle, please, you must go. You must run right now.
No, but I don't wish to run. I wish to be caught.
No, Miss Dewthistle, you must go right now.
Well, Dr. Jekyll, how changeable you are. Your sister did warn me that you loved to chase.
A chase, yeah.
Well, Dr. Jekyll, in this case, your quarry shan't run far. Dr. Jekyll? No, please.
Henry!
Help me, please.
Blimey, it is the murderer.
Ah, Mother, just in time. Here, let me give you a kiss.
Stay back, you scoundrel.
Henry, what have you done?
This won't hurt a bit.
Which one are you?
I'm the bad one.
Ah.
You see, Ivy, same way we liberated Scotland. Sometimes you just have to take matters into your own two hands.
Mother? What's happened?
It was Henry. He's the murderer.
The murderer? Well, does Miss Dewthistle know?
Miss Dewthistle's dead.
Come away, Mother. Come sit down.
There's bodies. Bodies and more bodies.
There, Mother, there. The maid will clean it all up.
And so it was that the murderer Dr. Jekyll was caught and put in a cage, so that children could throw stones at him and adults could point and whisper of his deeds. And the world was safe again for the rich and dangerous for the poor. Many a